Space Station E-94 moved quietly in the darkness of space. It floated near the edge of the neutral zone, an area where no war was allowed, no borders claimed. For years, it had been safe. Traders passed, scientists worked. Peace was simple here. That's why Dr. Lena Moore had chosen it. She was a xenobiologist, a scientist who studied alien life. Kind, gentle, and always smiling. She loved learning from other species. She believed knowledge would bring peace to the galaxy. That night, the lights inside her research lab were still on. Her team had gone to sleep. She stayed late, looking at something strange, an alien signal that didn't match anything known. The cameras showed her typing fast, then looking surprised, and then nothing. The footage ended in a white flash. No alarm, no sound, just silence. When her team came back the next morning, she was gone. Her tools were still on the desk. Her cup of tea was still warm, but there was no trace of her, no blood, no damage, not even a broken chair. It looked like she had simply vanished into thin air. At first, people thought it was a mistake. Maybe she left the lab and walked out of camera range. Maybe she went for a walk. Maybe she was on another deck. But they searched everywhere. She wasn't on the station. Her ID chip didn't respond. Her ship was still docked. The internal sensors showed she never left. When Earth Command received the report, they waited. The Galactic Union said they would handle it. Don't overreact, they warned. These things happen. We'll find her. But days passed, and no update came. Earth sent a formal request for deeper scans. It was denied. The case was marked as a technical glitch. But Earth's people knew better. They had seen this before. Many years ago, long before peace became the rule. The signs were always the same. Silence, confusion, and denial. What the Galactic Union didn't know was that Lena Moore wasn't just a scientist. She was also the younger sister of Commander Rillan Morin, elite officer in Earth's security force. Serious and cold in the face of danger. Rillan had fought in the border rebellions, saved colonies from falling, and trained Earth's new defense teams. But this wasn't about his rank. This was about family. When he saw the report, he didn't wait. He reviewed the camera logs himself. He paused the footage on the moment of the flash. He zoomed in, frame by frame. Then he saw it, something the others had missed. For just a second, less than a blink, a strange black shape appeared behind Lena. Tall, thin, not human. Then it vanished with her. The image was too fast, too low quality. But Rillan knew one thing. It was not a technical error. He took the evidence to Earth's council. This was a targeted act, he said. This wasn't random. Someone took her, and they did it inside neutral space. The council was careful. They didn't want war. We must first ask the Galactic Union for a full review. One member said if we act without proof, we risk breaking the treaty. Rylan said nothing. He nodded and walked out. That same night, without waiting for permission, he sent a stealth drone to search the outer edge of the neutral zone. It flew quiet, invisible, following Lena's last signal trail. What it found was shocking. There were faint energy traces, ones not used by any known species. A strange radiation signature, almost hidden, was spread around the area. It matched nothing in Earth's records, but deep inside that data, buried and hard to decode, was a message. Short, cold, she is ours now. Rillan stared at the words. He didn't flinch, but something in him shifted. He didn't sleep that night. He sat at his desk, looking at her photo. Her laugh still played in his memory. Her voice, telling him about new alien flowers, about peace, about hope, and now taken without warning, without reason. In the cold morning hours, Earth's largest ship, the Oblivion, received a secret launch command. No press, no fanfare, just orders. Find her, bring her home, and if they won't give her back, make them understand what it means to take a human. The galaxy was quiet that morning. Too quiet, but something had changed. Earth was moving, and when Earth moves, the stars remember. Space around the neutral zone felt heavier now. Traders moved faster. Stations reported strange sensor readings, and whispers passed through communication relays like drifting smoke. Something had shifted. No one said it, but everyone felt it. Earth was no longer waiting. Far from the edge. In a hidden command center on Earth's lunar base, Commander Rillan Moore stood before a dark screen. Data flowed like a quiet river, numbers, images, old star maps, but his eyes focused on one thing only, the final message from the unknown force. She is ours now. That sentence played in his mind again and again. It wasn't just a message. It was a challenge. Earth's leaders continued to speak of peace. They held meetings, reviewed protocols, and sent polite messages to the Galactic Union. But Rillan didn't wait for answers. He was already working. The Oblivion, Earth's most advanced long-range vessel, had launched quietly into deep space. Its purpose was not war but recovery, and if needed, reminder. The Oblivion was different. Built in silence after the last border conflict, it held technology the galaxy didn't know Earth had. Cloaking fields, dark matter scanning, and something more, an onboard AI with personality, thought, and curiosity. Her name was Iris. She had studied Lena's research, reviewed alien patterns, and was now running simulations to guess where Lena could be. As the ship moved closer to the edge of known space, it picked up trails small, almost hidden, strange radiation paths, matching the one near Lena's last location. It wasn't normal fuel or energy. This trail belonged to a species Earth had never officially met, but stories had been told. They were called the Zarkith, a name spoken only in fear by deep space traders and outer colony survivors, tall, silent beings who lived far beyond mapped territory. They never traded, never answered hails, and left no survivors. The Union claimed they were myths, but Rylan knew better. Lena's last location matched the edge of Zarketh space. Earth's council asked him to stop. Send a second drone, wait for diplomacy, don't act alone. But Rylan had made a promise to Lena, long ago. If you're ever in danger, she once told him, don't let the galaxy slow you down. He remembered that, so he didn't slow down. As the Oblivion entered the outer layer of the Hoth, expanse in charted space rumored to hide the Zarkith, everything grew quiet. Radio signals faded. Stars behind them looked dimmer. Iris began reporting changes in time delay. Gravity waves were slightly off. It felt like space itself was shifting. Inside the command room, the crew watched silently as the ship passed through layers of dust, broken satellites, and abandoned beacons. All dead, all without logs. It was like hundreds of explorers had tried, and never returned. Then something unexpected happened. A signal appeared, weak, fragmented. It was a video file. Iris cleaned the feed, removed the static, and enhanced the resolution. It showed Lena. She was alive. She looked tired, thinner, but not hurt. Her eyes were alert. Her voice cracked. Dry spoke clearly. If you're seeing this, I'm still inside their vessel. They want something. I don't know what. They study me. They don't speak, but they understand. They fear something. Something about humans. They say we are too fast to adapt, too fast to change. The video glitched. Her last words before the feed ended were simple. Don't follow. Run. The room stayed silent. Some crew members looked scared, others confused. But Rylan stepped forward, his voice calm. She told us to run, but she also sent this message. That means she wants us to find her. He turned to the screen again. Prepare deep scan. Lock onto radiation trails. Ignore the Union's orders. Then he added, and Iris, record everything. The galaxy deserves to know what happens here. The Oblivion moved deeper into the expanse. Outside, the stars flickered. Inside, the crew prepared for whatever came next. They were no longer looking for answers. They were looking for one of their own. And Earth never forgets its own. Asterisk, the Oblivion traveled beyond the edge of known maps. There were no signals here, no beacons, no ships, just drifting rock and silence. Even the stars looked distant, as if the galaxy itself wanted no part in what waited ahead. This space didn't feel empty, it felt hidden. Iris, the ship's AI adjusted course every few minutes. Strange gravitational pulses tugged at the ship from different directions, as if something large, too large, was moving slowly through the darkness, but no object appeared on sensors. The crew worked in silence. They could feel the tension, in the walls, in their own bones. Commander Rylan Moore stood on the observation deck, his eyes locked on the dark streaks ahead. Lena's face still lingered in his mind, her warning, her voice whispering, don't follow, run. But he knew her. She wasn't saying to stop, she was saying, be ready. Below the deck, engineers continued scanning the strange radiation trail. Iris confirmed it was definitely Zarketh. And then, they found something new. A signal. Weak. Buried inside layers of interference. A code. It was Earth-made. The crew jumped to action. They pulled it out, decoded the sequence, and found that it was a microburst message compressed into 5 seconds of light. It came from Lena. It had been sent only 6 hours ago. I'm on the third moon of the Black System. Red gas cloud nearby. They think I'm too weak to escape, but I still listen. They talk through light. The crew marked the coordinates. There was no name on any map, just a system blocked by radiation storms and false star patterns used to confuse outsiders. It was something only the Zarkith would know how to navigate. But Earth had Iris. The Oblivion pushed forward. Soon, the ship entered a red gas cloud. It wrapped around them like a slow-moving fog. Electric waves pulsed through it, making the ship shiver. The deeper they went, the stranger things became. The stars outside twisted in shape. Time moved, slightly off rhythm. The crew felt lightheaded, as if space itself was watching them. And then, they saw it. A structure. Not a planet, not a station. It looked like a city floating in space, but it wasn't built with steel or metal. It pulsed, like it was alive. Walls made of dark crystal. Towers that moved slightly, like breathing lungs. Lights blinked across its surface in strange patterns. This is where she is, Iris said. I've matched the light sequence from her message to that city. Rylan studied the image. So they speak through light, not sound, not language, pure light pulses, Iris answered. It's more advanced than anything Earth has seen. Rylan gave a simple order. Send a message in their language. Say this, we've come for one. Only one. Return her, and we leave. The ship's outer lights blinked the message into the red. Fog. Nothing responded. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Then the city lit up. Not a welcome, not a message. It was a warning pattern, one that Iris quickly translated. You will not take her. She is knowledge, and you are noise. Ryland stood still. He didn't blink. I think that was their version of no. Before they could send another signal, the ship's alarms rang. Multiple shapes emerged from behind the city dark. Crafts, shaped like wings, with no engines, no heat, just shadow. Zarkith, ships. The Oblivion was not a warship. It was a deep exploration vessel, but Earth never built weak ships. Hidden ports opened from its sides. Defense systems activated. Iris began preparing the jump engines, just in case. But Ryland didn't order retreat. We're not leaving without her. The Zarkith ships moved slowly, silently. They circled, measuring, watching. The crew prepared for any movement. Everyone knew this could be the last moment before something unknown happened. But then, one Zarkith ship stopped. A beam of light shot forward, not as an attack, but as an image. It formed a shape in front of the Oblivion, a hologram. It was Lena. She looked weaker than before, pale, her voice low. Ryland, you shouldn't have come. They don't fear our weapons. They fear us. They think we're dangerous. Because we can change too fast. Because we become stronger with every loss. They don't understand humans. That's why they took me. To learn. She looked around, then whispered, they think Earth is still sleeping. The image blinked out. The Zarkith ships began to move again. Faster now. Iris spoke. They are preparing for something. It's not a greeting. Ryland turned to the crew. They don't know what we're capable of. He stepped forward. Prepare the stealth drones. Let them watch us. Let them think we came alone. He looked one more time at Lena's last image. Soon they'll understand. A strange stillness filled the bridge of the Oblivion. Outside, in the red clouds of the hidden system, the Zarkith ships floated without sound. They didn't fire. They didn't flee. They simply watched like shadows frozen in space. Inside, every crew member stayed quiet, listening to the hum of the engines and the rhythm of their own breathing. Something was about to happen, but no one knew what. Iris adjusted the sensors again. They are scanning us now, very deeply, deeper than standard systems should allow. Commander Ryland's eyes didn't leave the viewport. What do they want to know? Not weapons, not power levels. Iris answered. They're studying our biology, human behavior, brainwaves, emotions. Ryland's face hardened. They're afraid of us. They are curious, Iris replied, but also cautious. To them, humans are unpredictable. Outside, the lead Zarkith ship began to glow softly at first, then brighter. Symbols formed along its surface, pulsing patterns like language. Iris translated them in real time. They offer one chance. If we leave now, they will not pursue. But they will not return. Lena. Silence spread across the command deck. Some crew members looked to Ryland, waiting for orders. Others stared at the image of Lena, still floating on the side screen, her tired face. Her whisper still fresh. They think Earth is still sleeping. Ryland stepped forward slowly. Send a message, he said. One sentence. In their language. He paused. Tell them, Earth does not abandon its people. Iris flashed the message through the external lights. The Zarkith didn't reply. Instead, the space around the Oblivion began to shift. The ships moved smooth, like fish swimming through water. Their wings opened wider. Not weapons, not yet, but a show of strength. Then something massive appeared in the distance. A structure round black and turning. It looked like a planet, but wasn't. It was mechanical, built from stone, an unknown metal. It gave off a hum that the crew felt in their bones. Iris's tone changed. That is their core facility. A fusion between ship, home, and mind. Lena is inside it. Ryland narrowed his eyes. So they brought her here for study. Not to hurt her? Not yet. Correct. But if we move closer, they may see it as threats. He turned to the team. Get me eyes inside. Stealth drones, microcrawlers. We're not leaving without her. As the drones deployed, something unexpected happened. One of the Zarkith ships detached from the group and moved slowly toward the Oblivion. It did not attack. It did not open. Instead, it projected another hologram. This time not Lena, but a Zarkith being tall, gray-skinned, no mouth. Just lights blinking across its chest. It studied Ryland through the projection. Then Iris translated the lights. Why risk all for one? Ryland stepped closer to the image. Because one matters to us. The lights blinked again. She is not soldier. She holds no power. She is human, Ryland answered. That's enough. The Zarkith paused, then the projection disappeared. No more messages, no more light. Then, the hum returned deeper this time. The Zarkith structure in the distance began to glow. Not red, not yellow, but violeta color Iris could not define. This is new, she said. This pattern has never been recorded. Suddenly the drones sent back data images from inside the structure. Hallways of light, floating platforms, rooms filled with shifting crystals and what looked like living code. And in the center, Lena. She was awake, hooked to a machine, not harmed, but connected. Her brainwaves flowed into the structure. She was speaking without words. She was learning and teaching. The Zarkith weren't just studying her. They were letting her inside their systems, letting her understand them. Ryland's voice was firm. We're getting her out. Now. The crew prepared the plan. A stealth team, a short-range pulse to distract, no fighting unless absolutely necessary. The goal was clear. Reach Lena and bring her back. But as the team suited up, something changed again. Lena's signal grew stronger. A new transmission came through clearer. This time, Ryland, don't attack, don't rush. I'm not just learning them. They're learning us. They don't understand love, loyalty. They've never had connection like we do. I'm trying to show them what being human means. Ryland's hands tightened around the console. I can't hold this bridge much longer, she said, but I have shown them memories. Of Earth, of home, of you. She paused. I think they're beginning to question their beliefs. The signal cut. Ryland looked to Iris. What's your analysis? I believe she's telling the truth. A part of the Zarkith mind is confused. She's planting doubt, change. They don't know how to handle it. He nodded. And when beings don't know how to handle something, they push back. Just then, sensors screamed. Energy was building around the outer edge of the structure. Defensive rings, pulse fields. They weren't attacking yet, but Earth's time was running out. The next move would decide everything. *A. Low vibration passed through the floors of the Oblivion. Soft at first, then deeper, almost like a whisper from the stars themselves. The ship's lights dimmed for half a second before stabilizing, but the message was clear. The Zarkith were no longer just observing, they were preparing. Commander, Ryland stood in front of the central screen, his reflection mixing with the image of the massive living structure that held his sister. Lena's voice still echoed in his mind, calm, hopeful, but with a shadow beneath it. She believed the sun could change. She believed her memories, her emotions, her very humanity could show them a different path. But Ryland knew something else too. Belief was not enough. Hope required time, and time was quickly running out. Iris spoke with urgency. The outer rings of the Zarkith structure have activated. Energy levels are rising steadily, based on pulse readings. It appears they are preparing to seal the inner core. If that happens, Lena will be unreachable. Ryland gave the order instantly. Initiate the rescue plan. No more waiting. The crew, already in position, moved without hesitation. A special teams, small, quiet, trained for zero-contact infiltration, launched in a stealth pod toward the living structure. As they entered the gas cloud surrounding the alien core, everything outside went silent. Even Iris lowered her voice, adjusting her tone to match the gravity of the moment. The Zarkith did not fire. Not yet, but the tension in space thickened. Inside, the pod sensors picked up a strange vibration. It wasn't mechanical, it felt emotional, as if the structure itself could sense fear or courage. As if it was listening. The rescue team found an opening, a soft point in the living wall, pulsing like a heartbeat. The ship's skin bent around them, almost as if it knew they were not Zarkith. The crew passed through, floating in weightless corridors of light and color. Shapes moved along the walls too fast to study, too strange to explain. There were no doors, no maps, just patterns, flowing like rivers of memory. Then at last, they saw her. Lena stood inside a chamber of glowing threads. They floated around her head like digital vines, linking her mind to the core. Her eyes opened slowly as the team approached. She didn't look surprised. I told you not to come, she whispered, though her face showed relief. We don't leave our own, the team leader said. Lena smiled faintly. They're watching us, not just from outside, from everywhere. This place isn't just metal, it's alive. They feel what I feel. She paused, and they're afraid. Outside, Iris's voice came through the link. Commander, energy levels are reaching critical thresholds. Defensive protocols have begun to form around the rescue team. You have limited time, Ryland responded without emotion. Then we move faster. Lena took one last look at the glowing threads. They didn't take me to punish, they took me to understand. They thought humans were dangerous because we changed too easily. But now they've seen what love looks like, what loyalty means. It doesn't follow their logic. The threads detached gently, fading into the floor. The team pulled Lena into the pod and launched, but the Zarkith did not let them go easily. As soon as the pod exited the structure, the space around the Oblivion twisted. Light bent unnaturally. Ships that had been hidden in the cloud revealed themselves larger than anything the crew had expected. Dozens of them, motionless, but ready. Iris sent a message to Ryland. They're giving us a choice. What kind of choice? He asked. Now, or they close the system forever. Nothing in, nothing out. Ryland watched the approaching pod on the screen. Lena was safe, but tired. Her presence on the ship again meant everything. But something else mattered now to understanding. He stood before the com station. Send them this message. Direct, simple, in their language. He waited, then spoke. We gave you a chance. Not to fear us, but to know us. We came for one of our own. We're leaving now. We'll not cross your line again, lest you cross ours. Iris sent the message. The Zarkith ships did not respond. Instead, they faded slowly into the cloud, as if space was swallowing them. Once more, no weapons, no threats, just disappearance. The pod docked. The airlock hissed open. Lena stepped onto the deck, wrapped in a thin emergency blanket, her eyes adjusting to the light. Rylan was there waiting. For a second, he didn't speak. Then he said, "You're late." She laughed. Weak, but real. "I had to teach a whole species about feelings," she said. It took a while. That night, as the Oblivion drifted into safer space, the crew finally breathed again. The galaxy had changed quietly, without headlines, without explosions. A message had been sent, not just to the Zarkith but to anyone who might be watching. Humanity had limits, but it also had strength, not in weapons, but in the unbreakable bond between its people. And somewhere, far behind them, in the heart of the red cloud, a strange pulse flickered through the Zarkath mind network. A question, soft new. What does it mean to care? Asterisk, far from Earth where starlight barely touched the edges of forgotten space, the Oblivion drifted in silence. Behind it, the red gas cloud slowly faded from view, like a dream retreating into morning. The Zarkith had vanished. No signal, no ships. Final words. Just stillness. But something had changed, something no scan could measure. Inside the ship, Lena Moore sat in a recovery pod, her heartbeat steady, but her thoughts far away. Her time inside the Zarkath mind network had not broken her. Instead, it had shown her things no human had ever witnessed, patterns of thought, unlike any species, and logic built without emotion. She had been alone, but not ignored, observed, studied, understood, in ways even she didn't yet fully understand. Commander Rylan stood near the viewing bay, hands behind his back, eyes on the stars ahead. He wasn't thinking about the mission. Any more than was done. Lena was home. The crew had survived. The Oblivion had crossed into legend. But still, he waited. There was a feeling deep in his chest, like unfinished music. The Zarkith had let them go. That wasn't kindness. It wasn't surrender. It was something else. A question left unanswered. Iris interrupted his silence. "Commander, long-range sensors have detected movement." Rylan didn't turn. "What kind of movement? Not ships? Not energy? Something larger, something hidden?" He looked at the display. A ripple across space. Not light, not matter. A shift, like something was folding. The same strange pull they had felt in the red system was happening again. But this time, far from the Zarkith territory. Too far for coincidence? "Are we being followed?" Rylan asked. "No." Iris replied. "They're not coming after us. They're spreading." The room stayed quiet. Iris continued. "The Zarkith have begun moving across deep space, not in fleets, but as thought. Their communication web is expanding, quietly, without alarms, but fast." Rylan stared at the slowly growing pattern on the screen. It looked like blooming vines, spreading through stars unseen. "What are they doing?" "They're listening," Iris answered. Lena's voice came from the hallway, weak, but steady. "They're not the same anymore." Rylan turned. She stepped forward, holding a tablet filled with the light code she had learned inside the Zarkith structure. "They felt what I felt. They saw how we react to loss, to love, to each other. That's why they stopped. Not because we scared them, but because they started to question what they are." She paused, "And now they're asking if they can be more." The crew gathered on the bridge, watching the signal spread, slow, smooth, natural, like something growing, not invading. On Earth, no one knew what had happened yet. Reports would be written, footage reviewed. But what truly took place in that hidden system wouldn't fit into charts or command briefings. The truth was larger than a single mission. Something ancient had been touched, and it had responded not with weapons, but with curiosity. Iris displayed one final message received through the light stream. Not words, not symbols, but a shared emotion, translated through Lena's mind. Understanding, not peace, not friendship, just the beginning of something that had never existed before, between humans and the Zarketh. Recognition.ry. Len gave the order to set course for Earth. As the stars moved once again outside the viewing bay, Lena whispered, mostly to herself, "Maybe we didn't win anything. Maybe we didn't need to. Maybe it was never about victory." Rylan nodded. "Maybe, or maybe we just reminded the stars who we are." And with that, the Oblivion slipped into the dark again, not as a weapon, not as a warning, but as a memory the galaxy would not soon forget. And deep in the quiet corners of space, where the Zarkith once watched in silence, a new light began to blink. Not for control, not for war, but to ask a question, a human question. What does it mean to feel?